Hey guys, it's Becca. Welcome back to another video. Can you tell what we're going to be discussing today? Because if you didn't, I held up the book for you and do you want me? I'll hold up the book again. Okay. Today we are going to be discussing Since You've Been Gone by Morgan Matson. Little backstory, I first started reading Morgan Matson books just this year. I know, I've been out of the loop for a really long time, but this year I finally picked up one of her books and it was Second Chance Summer, and I fell completely in love with her writing. If you want to go check out that book review, I'll have it linked down in the description below, but I just wanted to tell you guys like how I first got introduced to her writing. Quick summary about this book. This book is about a girl named Emily who is kind of in her shell. She's a very shy person. It's really hard for her to talk to people or make new friends. She actually has only one best friend and her name is Sloane, and Sloane's like the epitome of perfection. That's how Emily sees her. Sloane is a very outgoing girl. She talks to everyone. She makes friends with everyone. So she's pretty much just like the opposite of Emily, and I think that's why they're really good friends in this book. But then summer hits and Sloane is nowhere to be found. She's not in her house. Emily can't find her anywhere, but Sloane leaves her a list full of stuff that Emily needs to do for the summer, and it's just really fun. And Morgan Matson writes like the best contemporaries. Like, I'm so glad that I have found this really great author whose contemporaries are just like so gut-wrenching and they just have a really clear, good message in them. I love books that like just leave such an impact on me. Like, after I read the book, I'm just like, wow, that taught me something. And this book definitely taught me a lot of things. It's definitely a really great summer read. And basically every single one of Morgan Matson's books is perfect for the summer. So if you need a really good summer read, I suggest you pick this book up and also pick up her other books because you will be just set for the summer. I gave this book a 4 to 5 stars. It was a perfect summer read. Very great way to start off my summer. Just to give you like kind of an overview of the stuff that Emily, who's a very shy, in her shell kind of girl, has to do, I'll just give you a few. 1, kiss a stranger. 2, skinny dipping. 3, steal something. 4, break something. 5, Penelope, and literally so much more that her friend Sloane has left her to do. It's also kind of a mystery in the book too because you don't know where Sloane is. You kind of have an idea of where she is, but you don't necessarily know where exactly she is, and you don't know why she left Emily this list. Definitely go pick up this book, and that is the end of this non-spoilery section. So if you haven't already, go click out, buy the book, and once you're done with it, come back and we can discuss this book, this beautiful book, together. One of my favorite parts about this book though was the obvious character development that Emily, the main character, had. Emily couldn't even talk to people at the beginning of the book. She was so shy and she would think things in her head that she wanted to tell that person. She would keep it inside her head and she wouldn't just speak out. And a lot of that times that held her back. Like, she couldn't make friends because of that reason. Sloane was her only friend. As we see like the flashbacks and also the thoughts in her head as you're reading the book, you can just tell that she leans on Sloane so much. Like, Sloane is her personality kind of in a way. Because there was this one part where I think she was in the car with Frank and she was thinking about all the stuff that if she could have an easily better conversation if Sloane was in the car with her, and Sloane was kind of directing the conversation. But by the end of the book, she was having conversations with Frank and, you know, kissing Frank. That's another thing about Morgan Matson books that I've read 2 of her books, so I can see kind of that in every single one of her books that I've read so far, character development is so strong. I love seeing that. I love seeing my characters grow. I also loved seeing that by every single thing she was crossing off on the list, she was coming more and more out of this shell, this shy girl, this girl that was scared to talk to people. She was coming out of her shell and she was making friends, and it was all because she took a chance. Who else felt really bad for Emily kind of at the beginning of the book? It was so sad. Nobody was noticing her at that party in I think it was the orchid party, or it wasn't a farm. It was so sad. The girl would not talk to anyone, and she didn't think that anybody saw her, and she didn't want people to really see her. It was so sad. Nobody noticed her. Nobody was trying to talk to her except for Frank, of course, because he's Frank and he's wonderful. As you can kind of tell already, I really loved the character of Frank. He was just like a sweet, cute boy who was just so nice. I love seeing that because in a lot of YA books that we've seen a lot, the guy is mysterious, he's kind of like a bad boy, but in this book we see a guy who's just nice, who's the class president, who wants to save the world. It was just really refreshing and he was really cute. I really loved and enjoyed Emily and his relationship. We met this other character and his name was Collins, and he was Frank's best friend. And okay, I had a little bit of a problem with him. Like, he was really funny. He brought so much like comic relief to the story. But by the end of the book, I was getting really annoyed with him. And there were some loose strings at the end of the book that I'll get to at the end of this review, that there was just things that, I don't know, I just had a little bit of a problem with. That's why I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars instead of a full 5 stars. Another thing in this book I think teaches the readers in a way is that you can see a person and they seem perfect to you and they got everything going for them, but on the inside or in their household life, like, things might not be going as great. Take Frank for example. He was like the class president. Everyone loves Frank. He's so smart, but at home his parents are fighting, they're getting a divorce, and it's just not pretty. And I really hated that moment where, you know, Frank and Emily had been running together, and that was really cute that they were running together and stuff. He invites Emily into his house to have water, and they're just chilling. And then Frank's parents are fighting in the background, and Emily is just really awkward at this point because it's like the beginning of the book, so she's not really out of her shy persona. So she just like, I'm gonna leave. I'm just gonna back out. Bye.
Bye, Frank, even though you need some comforting, and bye.
I wish she had stayed and kind of connected with him on that level by just saying, hey dude, it's okay, it's cool. Or just like change the subject. You don't have to walk out and make it so awkward. Gosh. Just walking out and making it awkward made it even more awkward. And also with Sloane, Emily thought that Sloane's life was just glamorous, you know, that she had a beautiful house, but it wasn't really their house. Sloane's parents can't really keep up with money and they're constantly moving, and that's just so sad. This girl has moved around so much that she doesn't even have friends. Every single time she goes to a different place, she has to start fresh. There was this one part where Sloane's boyfriend, Sam, jerk, I'm sorry, I had a little tickle on my throat, hit on Emily, and Emily told Sloane the truth, like, he was hitting on me, like, what do you want me to do? Sloane believed her. Usually in books, that never happens. Like, the best friend's always like, ah, you're trying to hit on my boyfriend? What? Obviously Sloane and Sam broke up at that point, but who else felt bad for Gideon, who was Sam's friend? Sam is obviously not a really good friend. Gideon, I don't know if it was cute or if it was creepy. Emily had drawn something on him, and even months later he still had it on his, I don't know if that's creepy or cute. I'm going with creepy because we saw that and we never really saw him again. They weren't really in a relationship, but I felt bad for him too because he didn't really get an explanation, like, at all. The moment where Frank and Emily dance at that wedding is so cute and so sweet. It's one of my favorite parts of the book because it was when Emily finally realized, like, I like Frank. The skinny dipping thing was so hilarious, and Emily was the one who was like, let's go do this. So you could just see how fearless she was becoming. She was basically becoming like her own person. She was making her own decisions. And then of course Collins took the towels, which I would have been extremely mad. Now we're gonna start talking about the parts that I had a problem with. This whole entire book, I guess the way that I saw it, I felt that Emily was trying to make friends. She needed to make friends because she didn't have any friends other than Sloane. As she's becoming basically her own person, she's making new friends. Obviously Frank, Collins, Dawn. By the end of the book, Dawn isn't her friend anymore because Emily kissed Frank, and that caused, like, I don't know, bad memories because Dawn got cheated on with her best friend and her boyfriend. I understood why Dawn was upset, but but by the end of the book, Emily and her hadn't talked or worked it out at all. So what was the point of that friendship when we're not even going to kind of resolve it? That friendship wasn't resolved, so that's crossing off one friendship off the list that she had made this entire summer. Next, we go to Collins, and Collins doesn't take her side when her and Frank have kissed and Frank's goes off to break up with his girlfriend, but obviously Emily didn't know that. I don't think Collins really liked Emily. I think he liked her kind of, but by the time that he realized that she liked Frank and Frank liked her, he just got really jealous and then he stopped being her friend essentially. So that's another friend that's crossed off the list. So now she only has Frank, a boyfriend, and one friend. Well, I guess Sloane is still her friend too, but Sloane's really far away. I just really didn't see the point of doing all these things this summer, making these friends and then losing them at the end and not even resolving the problems. The only problem that was resolved was the Frank problem and the Sloane problem, and obviously her becoming her own person problem, because it was a problem. She's still left with just kind of one friend. That was the problem I had with this book, and that is why I bumped off 1 star, because I feel like the author should have resolved those friendships. It would have had more meaning. Tell me in the comments below all your guys' opinions and how you feel about that. That was just the one thing that I had a problem with. But overall, I really enjoyed this book. I'm really glad that I have gotten into Morgan Matson books. It was a really sweet summer read, and I'm really glad that Frank and Emily worked out. Comment down below all the thoughts you guys had about this book. So that is it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and follow me at inabookshell on Instagram, Twitter, and Goodreads, and all that jazz. It's all in the description box below. I will see you in my next video. Bye!